components. Julian is technically a pagan emperor, but he thinks administratively in Christian categories. He builds welfare systems modeled on Christian institutions. He operates structures shaped by Christian Rome. The most complete product of the transformation is what he's fighting. And honestly, that's not tragedy. That's just architecture. People always ask the same question here. What if Julian had survived? What if Persia had gone differently and he ruled another 20 years? And honestly, that is one of the great Roman historical hypotheticals. But the autopsy answer is likely uncomfortable. It still wouldn't have been enough. Rome had changed. Maybe he reshapes court culture. Maybe pagan institutions regain temporary influence. Maybe a generation of administrators emerges with stronger pagan identity. But the deeper structural realities, they don't change. The church is still economically integrated. Ritual memory is fractured. And the border pressures building around Rome aren't theological. They're demographic. Population moments across Central Asia are already pushing westward. The Huns haven't fully appeared yet, but they're coming. Gothic groups are already negotiating settlement inside imperial borders. Recruitment increasingly relies on non-traditional military populations. These aren't problems caused by Constantine or Julian. They're structural pressures created by migration, economics, and frontier strain. And every empire facing those pressures encounters the same question equally. Can your institutions absorb the movement, or do they dissolve under its pressure? Julian's instinct would have been military force. But military force requires money, and money is attached to the institution he's dismantling. So every attempted solution keeps colliding with the other fault lines. Money, borders, power. Different faces, same problem. The church, meanwhile, understood something Julian didn't. It had already survived persecution before, for centuries. Illegal, underground, and targeted. And every cycle of hostility had actually made it more organized and resilient. By the time Constantine legalizes Christianity, the church has already evolved decentralized survival mechanisms, capable of enduring state pressure. So when Julian strips privileges away, the church doesn't panic. Christian bishops openly compare Julian's policies to earlier persecutions and basically frame them as manageable. Community networks continue. Charities continue. Arbitration adapts informally. The church simply waits. Because it understands something Julian never fully internalized. The emperor's reign is temporary. A network controlling appointments, grain, and community structure thinks in generations. Julian is operating in military time, campaign seasons, fiscal cycles, immediate legitimacy. The church is operating in civilizational time, and it is true that the church built Western culture. And once an institution begins thinking that way, a 20-month reversal attempt barely registers as existential. It becomes a stress test, and the church passes it. There's a mechanism concept that explains all of this surprisingly well: the ratchet. The ratchet only moves in one direction. Every click locks forward movement in place. Constantine's conversion is a click. Tax exemptions are a click. Basilicas are a click. Christian officer networks are also a click. 50 years of clicks. And by the time Julian arrives, the mechanism no longer has meaningful reverse position. That's why he fails. Not because he lacks conviction, not because he lacks intelligence, because the underlying structure has already changed form. People assume institutional change can be reversed through equal and opposite force. If one emperor built it, another emperor can dismantle it. But systems don't work like that. Every stage of transformation rewrites the foundation underneath it. The world Julian is trying to restore no longer exists. Not because somebody destroyed it intentionally, because the people trained inside it are gone.